Hey, this is Ralph, and I want to continue working on managing debt with Excel. In my last video, we figured how long it would take if we were just going to pay the minimum payment on a particular credit card. So I was looking at this credit card too, had an $8,000 balance, 18% interest rate, and the minimum payment is 3% of the outstanding balance. So we worked up this worksheet here, and it would take a little over 15 years to finally pay off this credit card if you only paid the minimum. So that's pretty scary stuff. So 15.3 years, and total interest is simply the sum of all of the interest cells. There's a lot of them. There we go. Look at that. Total interest is $7,300. Oh wow. So basically $8,000. You had to pay an extra $7,400 in interest. Okay, total interest is $7,400. And of course, how much did you have to pay over this 15 years? You just take all your payments and you add up all those payments. Total payments, $15,392. $15,392 paid to pay off $8,000 debt. That's what happens if you pay the minimum. So let's tweak that a bit. Let's say, instead of recalculating the minimum, let's say to pay off our debt starts off at $240. Okay, that's cool. I can handle that. But instead of figuring out 3% of the outstanding balance, let's just lock in the 240. I'm going to type in 240 manually. And then I'm going to start to autofill this down. Now notice it's going to be 240 for each month as opposed to a reducing payment amount, because the payment is no longer based on a percentage of the outstanding balance. The benefit of this is since you're paying the same amount, even though less is required of you, more of your money is going to go to paying the principal, which reduces the outstanding balance. So if I just keep autofilling this 240 down, it's already starting to look much, much better here. Pretty soon we're going to get to a point. Here we go, and it's right about here. Let me just go ahead and delete these. There we go. Pretty soon we get to a point to where we don't have to pay the full 240. 150, 134. There we go. So basically you'd pay 240 a month up until the point to where your outstanding balance goes to zero. Notice before it took us 15 years, and that's still the case, 15.32 years. By the way, this total interest is no longer accurate. I think it was something like, I'll just type in 7,900. It was close to that, I think. Okay, but now we're in much better shape. Now, time to pay off credit card 2 has gone from 15 years. Now it's gone to, let's see, the max date minus today's date divided by 365.25. Okay, and I'm going to put these in parentheses to force the order of operations. There we go. That's much better. So if you just pay the minimum, it takes 15.3 years to pay off the debt. If you pay 240 per month, then it just takes you under 4 years to pay off the debt. Well, how much interest? All I have to do is add up the cells for my interest column, and that total is 3,174. 3,174. So 15 years to 4 years, 7,900 in interest down to 3,100 in interest. Much better way to go. So we're letting Excel kind of indicate what our payments are. Actually, I take that back. We're using Excel to figure out our payoff period by putting in payments, whether it's the calculated minimum on the credit card or it's a minimum we decide to pay. Now let's take this one step further. Here's what I want to do next. Let's say your goal is to pay this credit card off even faster. You know what? I don't want it to take 4 years. I only want it to take 2 years. So let's see. We start around April 1st, 2011. Let's go down to April 1st, 2013, or May 1st, 2013. There's May 1st, 2013. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a goal seek. Okay, so it's under the data ribbon, what if analysis, goal seek, and I'm going to set cell, and for my case it's J27, I'm going to set it to 0. Okay, I'm going to set it to 0. And basically I want my outstanding balance on May 1st, 2013 to be 0 by changing my monthly payment. Now this isn't going to work as soon as I click, but we're going to get close. Okay, so I'm going to click this and click OK. And then I'll click OK again. Now for this to really work, by the way, what it's telling me right now is that I have to pay $3,313 for my first payment, and then I can pay $240 for the remaining, and then on May 1st my debt will be paid off. So if you got the $3,000, fantastic, throw it in. But I want a level payment. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an equals. So let's make sure we're clear on this. I'm going to go to my second payment here, which I've typed in 240. I'm going to make it equal to the cell just above it. And then I'm going to fill this down all the way to May. There you go. And I'm going to redo my goal seek. Okay, let me just highlight this cell again. So I'm going to redo my goal seek. I'm going to take the outstanding balance for May 1st, 2013. I'm going to set the value to 0 by changing my first payment, and I'll click OK. Click OK again. So basically, since each payment is equal to the payment above, it's kind of like a formula. And Excel is telling me that I need to pay $386 per month in order to get to a 0 balance at the time that I wanted, which is really kind of cool, because now if I look at it, it's only taking me 2 years instead of 4 years. And how much applied to interest? I just add these numbers up. I get to $1,653. Okay, so you can pay $7,900 in interest, you can pay $3,100 in interest, or you can pay $1,600 in interest, all depending on how much you can put towards paying that debt. So an Excel is a fantastic tool for doing this kind of stuff. I find it extremely motivating, because if you plug in all the numbers that are, special to your life, you can really kind of see what it takes to get out of a hole you might be in with managing debt.